Okay, so what was already complicated is about to get even more complicated. We're going to discuss printer profiles. So color profiles are a standard, they're a reference point that ensures that color is displayed consistently across different screens. Printer profiles are a color profile that's specific to a printer that when you download it on your computer, it enables you to see a simulation of what your final image is going to look like when it gets printed. Now, they're not 100% accurate, but it's a much better representation than if you just have it in sRGB and Adobe RGB. Again, this is very advanced. If you don't think you're going to be printing imagery for ads, etc., don't bother with this section because you will get bamboozled. So you will see them referred to as ICC profiles. You can download an ICC profile off of the website of the printer. Alternatively, you can just request them from the printer. Now, what I do before I'm going to print, most printers offer many different prints so that you can choose the style that's most appropriate for you. If I'm not being told what I have to print on and I'm making the decision, what I do is I download all of the ICC profiles, install all of those onto my computer, and then I proof them all in the software and see which one looks best. And so the ICC profile, what it does is it basically tells the printer how to translate your digital image into ink on a paper. It's really, really vital that if you are printing that you get this section right, because you can end up wasting hundreds of pounds. I personally learned the hard way when I printed my first ever portfolio because I just got the color off and it cost me dollars. It cost me like $300 because it's quite complicated, because it's quite niche. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this section is just about making you aware that this is a thing that exists. If you know you're going to do this, you need to speak to your printer, and then I would look at some online resources to get a better understanding. So let's just recap that whole section. A color profile makes sure that different devices are able to interpret the colors accurately and display them how you intended. The most common color profiles are sRGB, Adobe RGB, ProPhoto. All of these are digital color spaces. Then the last common format is CMYK. This is a print space. sRGB is the color space that you need to export imagery to for the web. Adobe RGB or ProPhoto RGB are the color spaces that you want to use in your editing workflow because they give you the most amount of latitude. You also want to set your camera to shoot in either one of these two profiles, the most latitude and data in terms of color. Color profiles are essentials for professionals to make sure that they don't have a color mismatch. In order for them to actually work, you yourself need to have a color accurate monitor. On top of having a color accurate monitor, you need to have a color calibration tool to ensure that the calibration of the monitor is spot on. Next, there are printer profiles. Printer profiles tell the printer how to interpret your image and make sure that when they're printed in ink on paper, that they're displayed accurately. We can download these color profile simulations to our computer, enabling us to view what the images will look like when printed. Color mismanagement can mean that your imagery does not turn out how expected online, and worse off, when it's printed, it does not turn out how we expect, and therefore needs to be redone, costs vital time and resources.